approaching scientists with ideas and be totally ready to be cut off when you go too far, not because it's like an anger thing, but it's because that's all they needed. If somebody just needed your assistance to get filled on their gas tank and you just kept overfilling it and smiling with that, we're going to make sure this is, it wouldn't make any sense, but you would know that because you were seeing it, hopefully. There's a version of that where you just have seen bottomless gas tanks, or yours was, and that's all you understood to be the most helpful. You could fill a bottomless gas tank. Okay, well, the problem with that is reasoning that means you should be as helpful as possible with everybody. Well, that's why you know not to meet them, and why you only need to meet them in the middle or less. And that is a lot of energy wasted. To make that universal, I would say a water instead of gas tank. And it helps to overcome your own influences. So I would say for water, if somebody needs your help to get water, it's not something they feel bad about because it's not, to them, that's an everyday or very common shared need that people meet of each other. So while it's great to be included in a need meeting process, you really think that they're sort of babying you maybe, or underestimating how much you can help. And so if you're used to having overly big need and overly huge plights and overly extreme, if you're filling things to the extreme on the normal, and that's what you get used to, that's the best you can help with, that's the most you can do, or at least you start to realize, hey, maybe this is too much. You know it's too much. So then you start to feel like you're not who you thought you could have been. And in a way that's true, but then that sort of lends itself to a misinterpretation or misreasoning or a logical fallacy of the most that I can help should go to everyone. And that sounds like a good thing to say. I'll help everyone the most I can. Shouldn't I be able to do that? And you realize, no, the most, we have a much bigger range than you thought. You've just always been at that extreme. So everything, when it comes to that, helping or accepting help, is meeting more than halfway, too far to the extreme, meeting people more than halfway. And then that can lead to confusion that people just have general needs all the time. It's like, really? That should last you for like 8 years, that little bit of whatever I give you, because it's so concentrated or it's so full. It's like, no, actually, that's just a day-to-day thing. We all do. It's not a big deal. We just help each other with, they are little things. If people bring you a cup of water each day to fill, but you empty your entire supply into it, that's sort of equivalent to that, where you're used to people needing your entire supply or being able to contain that. And then if you're taught that, you're like, well, I can get every need met. Well, guess what? It's inappropriate. I never understood the word inappropriate as well as I do with this. It has nothing to do with the context you ever hear it in. It's just the inaccurate role. You're in the incorrect role. Sometimes you're this role, sometimes you're that role. But if you don't see roles naturally, maybe this is part of the reason why. You just help everybody in every way you can all the time too much. People stop. They're like, whoa, way too much.